Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about our first. So we're basically just going to story tell about our first times from when we met up until like when we got married. And yeah, it should be a pretty fun little episode. We're just going to start it from the very beginning, which is our first impressions of each other. This is before we met. We saw each other at a volleyball practice.
Yeah.
For the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
Probably actually technically at the like meeting.
But I never noticed
But I
you
don't
until
remember
the
that.
first practice.
Yeah, so we'll just say practice. So our first impressions of each other at practice, you can go first.
Okay. My first impression of you was like really sweet, pretty kind to everybody, just a happy face, really, just to be at volleyball for the most part.
Yeah,
Like,
it was my favorite thing.
Oh, that was about it. I mean, there's nothing
Well, that's
like
nice.
crazy about it. It was just I thought you were really sweet and like you were trying to make friends with everybody, trying to talk to people.
That's good.
Normally, my first impressions are very good, so I'm excited.
Well, I'm glad
to
I
see
had a good
yours.
first impression on you.
Yeah.
Well, you know mine already for the most
Yeah.
part. I feel like I just remember thinking that you were kind of like, well, one, really old. I thought you were like a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was like a freshman. So I thought you were just like way older than me. I thought you were like a senior, and I thought you kind of seemed like a little like cocky and stuck up. But now I know you're not actually like that. But that was my first impression. And then I also thought you were like the ladies' man. Like I figured you probably flirted with all the girls because they all liked you.
Well, did you figure that out at practice?
Yeah.
That everybody liked me?
Yeah. It was from talking to other people.
Oh.
They were like, yeah, because one of my friends, she told me that I asked about you. I was like, so like who's that guy? And she was like, oh, that's Clayton. She's like, all the girls like him. And then automatically in my head I was like, yeah, nope, definitely not gonna like him. If every other girl likes him, I'm not gonna like him because I'm not gonna be like every other girl.
That's great. Here we are now,
Then I
sucker.
fell into your trap.
Sucker. Okay, next one is first conversation.
So our first conversation was not much long after that, and it was actually at volleyball practice as well. Probably wasn't the same one, but we don't really remember.
So, okay, it was either
like the same day or a couple weeks after. Like we were just there practicing, which there was quite a few people there, so we might not have talked to each other like the first practice, but obviously we noticed each other because we were in the same like practice. But I remember we were playing, and then I can't remember if this was like our set team or if we were just like trying out a team or whatever. I don't know. I just remember we were all playing, and then we were on like a team of like 8, and we only needed 6 on the court. You only need 6 on the court for volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
So our coach had you set on the bench, and then she went and set me on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Or had me go sit on the bench.
Yeah.
So I come and sit down next to you, and I'd never spoken to you before. And I remember thinking, well, looks like this is going to be us for the rest of the season. So I was like, I guess we better be friends. So I like turned over to you, and I was like, hey, what's your name? Like, how old are you? Where are you from? And then I remember being shocked that you were close to my age, because I literally thought you were a senior. Like, I figured you were like 18 or something, and you were really only 15.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I don't remember that conversation, though. That's the crazy part to me. I remember,
that is crazy
like,
to me too.
texting you or DMing you. And then
You
I
remember,
also
maybe
remember...
because you didn't like me. Maybe you don't remember anything until you, like, liked me.
I guess that's true.
Like, that's the only thing that can make sense to me, because, like, everything we've talked about, you don't remember anything before you, like, liking me, but then after you liked me, you, like, remember stuff.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because I just remember talking to you, and I didn't like you when I first started talking to you. I was just like, oh, we're going to be here
But for some
together
reason,
for a while, so I might as well be friendly.
She remembers everything about it. So apparently I had some sort of an impact on it, and you remember.
Some sort. Okay, so if you don't remember it, then what's next?
First text. So how
you
this
tell that.
went? How this went
Because you texted
is
first.
for the whole volleyball season, I was spending the night with one of my volleyball friends, and that whole time,
Did you really? You spent the night with him
yeah, like almost every Friday was when
Oh.
our volleyball tournaments was,
I,
and
I knew you guys were together a lot. I didn't realize.
I was like after, like on Thursday I'd go over spend the night, and then Friday it was at his house,
This
and then
is
I'd go there.
making me so nostalgic. I
Um,
miss it so much. This is so sad.
we went so after, oh my goodness, okay, so
Also,
after
This was
volleyball
like 7
tournament,
years ago.
after volleyball tournament, we went back and we were talking like, dude, okay, hold on, I think I kind of like her. I was like, well, how do I start a conversation? I've got to start some sort of conversation. I got to like DM her. I can't just talk to her strictly at volleyball. That's not going to work. So I got to talk to her. So I got to DM her somehow. And I ended up, me and him went back and forth for like almost 2 hours trying to come up with some starter line. And this is the best I come up with in 2 hours. I said, hey, aren't you that girl from volleyball? And that was my opener. And I felt really bad because I could have done so much better. But I was like, okay, whatever. I just need to start something.
Yeah, you could have been like, hey, are you that cute girl from volleyball? That would have been so much nicer.
Well, see, I didn't know if your parents were checking your Instagram or like
Yeah,
I
good
was
thing
just
you didn't
double
say that.
checking to make sure I was like, hey, just start a plain conversation. So that way it could lead into,
Now, the funny thing is, I already knew your account because I had already gone and stalked you.
oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, some of my friends, this whole thing doesn't even make sense to me. Some of my friends, I have no clue how they knew you. I guess just from seeing you at volleyball, but like they probably had never spoken to you before. They were following you. And so I like went and checked your profile. I like looked you up and I found you. And you had this like really weird Instagram name. And I found your account and I was like, wait, why are these like girls that I know, girls I used to be friends with? I was like, why are they following you already? Like, I was like, how does he know them? Like, I wonder if they had like something going on or something. I don't know. So I just stalked you, but I don't think I didn't follow you. I feel like maybe at the time I like was only allowed to follow people if I asked my parents first.
Crazy.
So I didn't want to ask my parents. So I just went and stalked you, but I didn't follow you. And then
Oh yeah, that's right. I had an open account at that time too.
yeah, I stalked you. I was like, kind of weird, but he's kind of cute. And then I remember like getting this DM. I don't remember what my initial reaction was, but I remember just being like, is he really this stupid? Like, how does he not know that it's me?
Well, yeah, obviously knew it was you, so that's why I sent the text. But I was like, you know what? Let's just like make it playful in the sense of she knows who I am, and I obviously know who she is. But
that was your thought process behind that.
I'll get her just turn it a little bit.
Yeah, and so I think when I read it, I was like a little bit freaking out, but then I was also like, I did not want to go tell my parents that he had DM'd me because I was technically supposed to talk to them before I like followed people or like texted them on Instagram or whatever. Because
Did you end up telling them?
I was pretty young. I was like 14, so I don't remember. I remember not talking to him about it for a few days, and then I think you actually brought it up to me at volleyball. We were like at games or something, and you're like, hey, like you never responded to my message on Instagram.
Right.
And I was like, sorry, like I have to like talk to my dad about it, and I haven't wanted to talk to him about it yet.
I totally forgot. I sent that text, and me and my friend sat there for like hours. She's like, has she texted you yet? I was like, no.
That is so funny.
And there was a few
so
hours
cute.
until like almost, I think it was like 2 or 3 in the morning. And we are like, dude, she clearly is not into you. We got to wrap this up.
Oh my gosh.
I should unsend it or delete it or something.
Oh, wait. No, I was into you though. I can't remember if this was before we had started texting or not. Random side note. But I was 14, so I was pretty immature. And I used to take like photo shoots all the time of myself. You know, like I'd have my sisters take photos of me. So I had this one photo of me and I was just like all serious faced and I was like sitting on like the couch. I don't know how to explain it, but like, you know, trying to look all good. and I posted it on my Instagram story. And I was like, I put on like the caption or whatever. I like wrote the text on there. You're the only one I want, or like, you're the one I want.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Literally, I posted that. And at this time, we had already been following each other because you saw it.
Mhm.
I posted it for you.
This is later.
I'd say this is probably comes next though, because we just started after
Yeah,
we
this
started
is a little bit-
texting.
yeah, so a
This was
little bit
before
later.
we like told each other we liked each other.
Uh-huh.
I think. And so I was like, "You're the one I want," or whatever. And then I go to sleep. Right. This is the day before I'm gonna see you at volleyball games the next day. So I go to sleep. Wake up the next morning, and I had like that phone lock, you know, that your parents can put on your phone, like where your phone goes to like
Oh, the time thing.
off hours.
Yeah.
So my phone went off, went to bed. I wake up the next morning, and I'm getting these texts from my friends.
Man.
And they're like, "Catherine, what is this? Like, Kat, what is this? Kat, like, da-da-da." And like, they're sending me something. And like, I like get on and I'm like, what the heck? Like, what are they asking me about? Like, I couldn't get on Instagram to see because my time limit hadn't opened up, and they were all just texting me on like messages.
I crushed this, by the way.
And so I like begged my parents, because we were going to leave the house super early. So my phone wasn't going to open up before we left. And all I had was like Wi-Fi. Like, I didn't have like service, so I couldn't check it once we left the house.
Mhm.
So I knew I wouldn't be able to check it. And so I was like, "Mom and Dad, can you like please unlock my phone?" And I was like, "There's something I need to see. Like, all my friends keep texting me." And they were like, "Why is it such a big deal?" And I'm like, "I don't know. They all just keep texting me like, please, can you unlock it so I can see?" And they're like, "Okay." So they unlocked my phone. I get on, and I see that he posted something on his story right after me
I'll explain it.
later that night. And it's like this picture of him
I'll explain it.
holding the
I'll
sign.
explain it. I'll explain it.
Let me say
Oh,
it,
okay,
and then you can
okay.
explain it. It's a picture of him holding the sign. This like it looks like he's at a wedding, and he's holding the sign, and it says "Kiss Me," and he's like pointing to it and making like duck lips. And he like put on like text on top of it that said like, "No, you're the only one I want." And my parents were like, "What did you need to unlock it for? What was it?" They like wanted me to show them, and I knew they were going to be mad, but they were like being really pushy. They're like, "No, show us." And so I showed it to them, and they got so mad. I got in so much trouble. They were like, "Is he saying he wants to kiss you? Like, that's inappropriate." Oh, I was so embarrassed. I was so mad at you. I was like, "Crap, now I'm in trouble."
I went to, this is at my sister's wedding, and I don't know who took the photo. I was just there, and it was a photo prompt that had the "Kiss Me"
Yeah, like
on
a
it.
photo booth sign.
And I made like duck lips edit. And I thought it was the perfect photo. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just roll this around, throw it right back at her and see what happens.
That is
Played
so stupid.
out perfectly. I almost tagged you too. But then I was like, nah, I'll just post it. She'll get the hint.
Oh, yeah, everybody got the hint. Like, I didn't realize, but like so many of my friends caught on to that post. Like, they were like, "What the heck?" Like, they were like, "Kat, what is this?"
Perfect. It was perfect.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what went through your head when you posted that, but I mean, I guess you just said it, but
Yeah, it was perfect.
I
It was a
got in a
perfect
lot of
throwback.
trouble for that.
It was a perfect throwback.
You weren't supposed to like, you're supposed to just tell me the next day that you wanted me, not post it so that my parents could see it.
No, it was funny.
But yeah, that's just a little random thing that I thought of that I thought I'd throw in there. So what happened next?
Our next first is our first hug, which how this played out was I was going to, this is at volleyball practice.
Again, like everything we did was basically at volleyball practice when we were dating.
Because that was really about the only time we saw each other was at volleyball practice.
For the first like year and a half
it was a few
before we could drive.
weeks after.
All this was happening.
Yeah.
We like were going back and forth. We kind of knew we liked each other, but we weren't saying anything to each other.
Mhm.
And then he starts texting me and he's like, "Hey, I really need to talk to you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, after practice, I need to talk to you." And I was like freaking out. I was like, "What the heck does he want to talk to me about?"
My plan was, is I was going to talk to her and be like, "Hey, I really like you. and I was gonna give her a hug and then send her on her way, so that way we didn't have like an awkward conversation afterwards. So I was like, okay, hug her, tell her I like her, and then send her out the door, so that way she can soak on that for a little bit and just think about it and get back to me later, so I can also think. And oh, dude, it did not play out how I wanted it to. So it was super late. I was like, kept pushing it. I couldn't find a time to like get you aside so I could talk to you.
And I was nervous the whole time. I was telling all the girls in the practice, I was like, no, he still doesn't talk to me. Like, I'm so nervous. Like, what the heck is he going to say to me?
And you low-key like kept avoiding me too.
I was terrified. I was like, what is he going to say to me?
And I was like, oh man, she's this. It's just not going to happen today. And my friend that I was staying with all that whole year was also like, did you talk to her yet? Like, go do it. I mean, it's not
everybody
that big of a deal.
knew. Everybody kept asking. Everyone was like, did y'all talk to each other? We're like,
And
no.
It just, she was like, oh, okay, bye. And she like went out the door. I was like, oh no, come back. What do you?
I think some of the girls were actually like, oh, Clayton wants to tell you something.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
I think
crap. And so I went back inside and everybody was
so
leaving.
Weird.
And I went back inside. I came up to you and you were like, hey, I was going to talk to you, but like, I don't have enough time now. You're like, so, I want to talk to you on Friday. Like,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you on Friday because it was like a Tuesday. And you're like, I want to talk to you on Friday. And you're like, can I give you a hug? And I was like, yeah.
So awkward, dude.
No, it was the
I
best
hate it
hug
so
ever.
much.
I could feel the
I gave her-
energy. I could feel the chemistry.
I gave her a hug, and then
I know you felt it too.
I walked back in, and everybody was like, "Whoa!"
No, literally.
What did she
No,
say?
we were inside. No, we were inside.
Oh, that's right.
We hugged. So basically, it was dark outside. They're like glass windows. I go back inside. We're like one of the only two people left in there. We hug, and all of our friends were outside. And literally, we hug, and all the people outside just started cheering. They're all like, "Whoa!"
Whoa, they hugged.
Yeah. They were like cheering, and I was like, I was so embarrassed. But that hug was pretty amazing. Like, I remember just being on like cloud 9 after you gave me a hug. It was like awkward, but it was like so, I don't know. It was
Thanks.
electric, babe.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Or I feel like our hearts were like beating so fast, and we just like
Probably.
gave each other a hug, and
I was
then
about to pass out.
everybody
dude.
started cheering, and then we like went outside, and everybody was like, "What did he say to you?" I was like, "He said he'll talk to me on Friday."
And then everybody was like, "Oh, okay,
You made
that's
me
stupid."
all nervous, and then you didn't even talk to me that night.
Oh,
So then, literally that Friday,
yeah.
we see each other at like volleyball again. This was like a tournament day though. So there's like a lot of people there and there's a lot going on. And we
Yeah.
kept seeing each other from across the gym. This huge like 8-court
Yet again,
gym building.
avoiding me.
No, you were avoiding me this time. Like, I swear you were avoiding me.
No.
You were. You would not come talk to me. And I was super nervous to come talk to you. So we kind of just didn't talk to each other. And then I don't even remember how you did it. I remember me and my friend were sitting over on the sideline. She was literally there when you told me you liked me. You remember that?
Yeah, y'all were sitting on the sideline on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
was
And you
like, what the
came over
heck?
and you sat down next to me on the floor.
Yeah, sat next to her on the floor.
Literally, and when I saw you coming over, I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening. He's about to say something. I'm like, he's about to talk to me.
Well, it was at the end of the day, and we were about to leave. Like, there was no games left. We were just waiting for him to finish up reffing so that way we could leave. And
You slid over and sat down next to me.
that's all I did. And I sat down, and I was like, hey, listen, so you know, I kind of like you. That was it. That's all I remember. That's all I remember. After that, it's all
I don't
blank.
really remember either. I don't really even know what you said. I just know you were super nervous, but like our legs were like kind of touching, and we were like sitting on the floor, and you were like, "Yeah, so I have to tell you, like, I like you." And I think I would have been. I think I was like, "Yeah, I like you too," or
Yeah,
something.
that was it. I think that was it. I
And
don't
then
think there was
literally,
anything else.
and then literally, I went home, and I think I like started texting you on my friend's Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That night, so my parents couldn't read our messages because they were reading all the messages on my account.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, I'm gonna go text them on her account. So I got on her phone and I was like texting you. It wasn't anything bad, but I was like asking you like if you'd ever kissed a girl, like stuff, and I didn't want my parents to see that. So I was like, I'm gonna text him on the side. Yeah, but that's where we started getting like really deep, because before that it was just kind of like, oh, I like you, But then like that night, literally when you told me you liked me, I was on cloud 9. I was so happy. I like went home and like then we started like getting really deep and like talking about like a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was like almost every night talking for several hours.
Yeah, and we would like sneak phone calls and text like all day, every day.
Crazy.
We were like
A lot of time.
inseparable.
Oh, this is not my favorite.
What's the next one?
This first kiss. This one's not my favorite at all.
Should we all tell it from our
Yeah.
own perspectives?
No, we'll start from the beginning. So we first started talking about like she wanted to start learning how to play the guitar. She was like, "Oh, I'm interested in it," which obviously I don't think you were.
Yeah,
I think
I
you
was.
were just
No, I really was.
wanting me to do something about
No,
it.
I really was.
Oh, okay.
But I thought it was also a good excuse.
Okay. Anyways,
He played the guitar, and I was like, I kind of want to learn how to play the guitar. And I'm like, I know a little bit, but like, you should teach me some.
oof. And then
You had a great idea.
I was like, you know what? I'll teach you some. I'll
At
teach you a little
practice.
bit at practice afterwards. You know, we have quite a bit of downtime. So I'll teach you some. And then,
At this point, you had turned 16 and you had gotten a car.
yeah.
So you were driving driving yourself to practice. Because when we first met, our parents were driving us, or like
Yeah.
your friend. We never like drove ourselves. So my parents were still driving me to practice, but you had turned 16 and gotten your car, so you were driving yourself to practice.
Yeah.
So you had a car, and you're like, oh, like we can have a little guitar lesson out of my car.
Yeah. Bad decision. I don't know
No,
what
it was a
I
good
feel like I
decision.
should have
It was
planned
a
it
good
out
decision.
way better. Anyways.
But yeah, the way you did it was bad. Definitely not a movie kiss for
so
sure.
We went out and we got everything set up. And
You
we
did. Like you brought 2 guitars from your house.
Yeah, I brought 2
And
guitars.
you're like, okay, you want to
set
go
'em
out?
up.
You want to go out there? And I was like, I was so scared because when I tell you, my parents were strict on me. They're not strict on my sisters at all now, but they were super strict on me. So I was literally terrified that I was going to get caught. And literally, he kept saying like, come on, let's go outside. Let's do it. And I was like so scared. But I was like, okay.
We eventually got out there. Not wearing a great outfit. I had like a button up and jeans.
A
Both
button
did
up
not.
with freaking ghosts
It was
on
Ghostbusters.
it. It was a white button up with Ghostbusters on it.
And jeans. That
And
were
boot cut
it
jeans with tennis shoes.
wasn't my greatest outfit. I thought I was killing it.
I was wearing green jeans with like a striped shirt and some Vans. So mine was a little cuter.
They don't care. They don't care. They care about how stupid I look. You obviously probably looked good. I just looked retarded.
So anyways, we get out to his car and he has the 2 guitars and he's basically like, oh, let me teach you like a song. So he like gives me one of the guitars and he takes one of the guitars and he like starts quote unquote showing me chords. Meanwhile, I have my phone on my lap and I'm looking at my parents' location because I was terrified they were gonna just know what was happening and they were gonna come back and I was gonna get busted. So I was so scared. So I had my phone on my lap and I was like watching their locations. And I literally was like, let me look and see where my parents are. So I like looked down at my phone to see if they're almost like there to pick me up. And I look back up and he's like right in my face. Which, okay, to preface this, he had like a suburban type car. Is that what that's called?
Yeah. Well, no, it was like a soccer mom car.
Like 2 seats in the front, 2 seats in the middle, 3 seats in the back. So we're sitting in the middle seats. So there's like no seat in between. Like there's like an open spot in between us. So our seats are separated. So we're separated. I look down to see where my parents are. I look back up and his face is like right there next to my face. And he literally just like goes in.
Well, listen, surprise is a good thing
Okay.
whenever somebody's prepared.
No,
Not when they're legitimately surprised.
No, yeah. Okay, so we had been talking about it. I knew he was going to try to kiss me eventually because he kept telling me he wanted to kiss me. So I knew it was eventually going to happen, but I kept telling him I was so nervous about it because I'd never kissed anyone before. And so I was like really nervous. So the whole time we were in there, like quote unquote learning guitar, I was shaking, like legit shaking so bad because I was like
We learned a
freaking
little
out.
bit of guitar.
No, I didn't. I was freaking out because I was like, oh my gosh, like, he's probably gonna try to kiss me while I'm in here, and like I don't know what to do, like I don't know how to kiss. So I was like freaking out, like shaking. I was super nervous.
Preface: she looked up kissing videos
Shut
beforehand.
up. I had to because I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh,
I think that
no.
honestly made it worse. I think I should have just tried it without looking at the videos.
Definitely.
Because the videos just like they were terrible tips.
Definitely.
Anyways, so back to the part. I'm sitting there. I turn my head and he's like right there in my face and he just goes straight in. Full on. When I tell you this was my first kiss and he doesn't try to peck. Full on making out with my face. Lips. Like tongue, everything. Just like
Whoa.
going in.
I don't remember
yes.
tongue. I don't remember tongue.
Yes. Probably. Okay, maybe not tongue. Okay, maybe not tongue.
I don't think that.
Okay, maybe I'm just thinking like make out.
Yeah. I tried to kiss you,
Like-
and then she's sitting there smiling.
I start smiling, like I start grinning.
No, you didn't start. It was from the beginning.
I was like,
Immediately
I started
to
laughing.
just your teeth and my lips.
But he didn't stop. He
Well,
literally.
I figured
You didn't stop. You just kept going. You kept making out with my face while I'm smiling.
I figured after so long you'd be like, okay, it's good, and we'll go into it. But it was just my lips and teeth.
I couldn't
the
stop laughing.
whole
I was like
time.
smiling. I was trying so hard not to laugh, but like I was like basically laughing, but like instead of my mouth like laughing, I was just like sitting there like grinning, and he's just like
I don't
trying
think
to
they
like
want to hear that.
make out with my lips, even though I don't have any because I'm smiling. It was really bad. Anyways, and so then I was very embarrassed, and I'm pretty sure he was mad. He was literally mad.
I
Like
was just
low
like,
key, you were so
gosh.
mad.
Dang it.
You were just like, or not mad, but you were just like put off. Like you were like, she's serious. Like, is she being for real? But like in my head, I'm like, did he really just spring that on me? Like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I told him I was nervous. Like he just came at me no matter, like out of nowhere.
I felt like, it's a good
No, I was
time.
not ready yet.
Uh,
I needed you to just be like, okay, you want to kiss now? And then we could have like kissed.
what?
It was my first kiss. I was too nervous. Like, I know that's not romantic, but like for someone who was extremely nervous and didn't know how to kiss, like I would have rather you'd been like, let's go to the car and have kissing lessons.
Ugh.
I'm just
Ugh.
because I didn't know how to do
Fair
it.
enough.
So I was
Fair
scared.
enough. Okay.
And so I think you were kind of mad or like hurt, I think, because you thought I was like making fun of you. But I wasn't. I was just laughing because I felt so awkward and like caught off guard. And then I think you were like, do you want to try it again? And I was like, yeah. And so then we like actually kissed.
Hey, you know what? Listen, I think it at least broke the ice. I think it broke the ice.
For me, because then I wasn't near as nervous. But I think
Exactly.
it made you mad. Like, I
That's
still feel like
okay.
you've never gotten over that day.
It's okay. Just totally humiliated myself, but it's fine.
We were such a mess. Like, literally out in the back seat of this car, or I guess the middle seats of the car, making out. And let me just say, this started a tradition. I don't think our parents knew about this. I don't know how many people knew we did this, but every week at volleyball practice, we'd go out to your car and we'd say we were doing guitar lessons in the back of your car.
Was it really every week?
Oh yeah. Once we
I don't
started
remember it was
it,
every week.
we started doing it a ton. And one time our coach walked out on us. She'd parked right next to us and she walked out on us and we both like freaked out and like laid down on the floor. She came
So
right next to the
stupid.
car and opened the How did we not get in trouble for that? I
don't
feel like
know.
your car was not that tinted.
No, it definitely wasn't.
And then one time, this might have even been the day we had our first kiss. I don't remember if it was that day or if it was another day.
Yeah.
3 of your guy buddies come straight out to the car when we're in there like vibing about to kiss, and they like come out and they're like make you roll down the window. You like roll down the window and like, what's up, bro? And they're like, what are you guys doing? You're like, oh, I'm just teaching her guitar. They're like, oh, you guys want to go to Sonic with us? You're like, no, bro, I'm good.
Like, no, I really don't want to go to
You're
Sonic.
like, no, I'm fine. And so then the 3 of them left, and then yeah, we already know where the rest of it goes.
I mean, I thought I did a great job teaching guitar lessons.
So, anyways, mom and dad, I
On to the
know
next
we were
one.
naughty, so just forgive us.
On to the next one. First date.
Okay, Okay, so our first date, like I said, strict parents. How old was I? I think I was like 15 and a half. I was 15 and a half. Holy crap. Okay, so I guess that makes sense why they were strict.
Strict. There you go. I'll help you out.
Yeah, my parents were stripped.
Strict. So we went to Texas. No, not Texas Roadhouse. I keep getting that confused.
We went to Santa Fe with my parents because I was
Yeah.
15 and a half. I had my permit and I literally drove my family's 15 or 12 passenger van, whatever it was, to the restaurant with my parents. And you met us there in your car.
Yeah.
And then I was so nervous. I didn't eat anything. You ordered wings.
I ordered wings and they sucked.
You didn't eat
and
anything either.
I didn't eat them.
We literally just sat there and like smiled at each other.
Smiled at each other.
Small conversation. For some
Talked
reason,
a little bit.
yeah, we didn't even talk a lot, which is really weird because
After the restaurant, though, we started talking.
yeah, I feel like we were just really nervous, which is so funny that we were that nervous to like literally go sit down and eat food. Like, why did we care so much?
I don't know. I feel like everything when you're
It's
younger
cute,
is
though.
bigger.
Yeah.
Like everything is like a big deal. Like, oh my gosh.
I guess that was my first date. Was that your first date ever with anyone?
Yeah. I didn't really go on dates.
Okay.
But yeah.
Like, you'd never gone and sat down at a restaurant with someone.
No.
So we got like really nervous sitting across from each other and talking. But then after that, we went shopping with my parents and that was fun.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
kept like pulling me in behind all the aisles and kissing me when they weren't looking.
Oh. Sorry.
So yeah, that was our first date. It was cute, but they definitely got better once we were able to start going by ourselves. Because it was just weird. We didn't have to sit with my parents. They
No,
just
it's
came to the
across-
restaurant.
Yeah, they came
but
to the
for some
restaurant.
reason, that just added a whole.
Well, they just brought you. You
Yeah,
know.
I guess that's true. I couldn't drive, so I guess they were just helping me go on my first date.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man. This is a big skip. You
Okay,
ready?
now we're skipping from our dating ages all the way to our what? Married
Marriage.
is the next one a married one?
Yeah.
A married one?
First night together.
Married? First
Married.
night married?
Well, it's just his first night.
Okay. So yeah.
First
our
night, yeah,
First night
yeah.
together. Married.
I remember getting to the Airbnb. Super
After our wedding.
sketchy. Also,
Mhm.
if y'all haven't already listened to our or just first getting, or what was it? Married?
What are you saying?
Our married podcast? What is that?
On our married podcast. We made an episode about our wedding day. You'll be able to find it. It was like one of our first few
Yeah.
episodes.
First ones. At the
So
very
if
bottom.
you want to hear more in depth about this whole like wedding day story and wedding night, you can go listen to that. But basically we showed up to the Airbnb. It was kind of sketchy.
Super sketchy.
We
Couldn't
went
figure-
inside.
Yeah.
I was having like a big allergic reaction, almost had to go to like the ER. Like I said, if you want to hear more about that story, you can go back and listen to that episode because we go all into it. So it was honestly a rough night. Not what I was picturing for our first night.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thinks like your first night's gonna be super like spicy and romantic and like it's just you two.
Yeah.
That is not.
I feel like that's
how I
probably
wanted
not.
it to go.
I feel like
but
that's not how it's gonna be for most people because
Yeah.
you get done.
I feel like that
with,
really is non-realistic.
So you get done with the wedding. We got there at 11. We left at like 10:30.
Our wedding?
Yeah.
No, we left at like 9:30.
Okay, 9. It felt like
9:30.
okay, whatever.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it probably just felt late because it had been a really long day.
we left super late. It would have felt like really late. Got to the place at like 11:30.
No.
It was
Like
like, an
11.
hour. Okay. Anyways, my timeline.
Okay, your time is
obscured.
really off. We left. Our exit from the wedding was supposed to be, I believe it was 9. Was our exit from the wedding. I don't think we left until a few minutes after our exit because it kind of got all messed up and switched around. Anyways, we like said goodbye to our family. We left because like by 9:30 I called my family and they already had like almost everything picked up at the venue.
Yeah.
Remember? And that was crazy. I think our Airbnb was only like 30 minutes away from our venue. But the thing was, we got there, but then we couldn't find it. Remember,
Oh,
we
yeah,
drove around like for 20 minutes. We couldn't find it. So finally we found it. It was like tucked behind.
In someone's backyard.
Yeah.
No street lights to see where we're going.
Sketchy people walking on the street. Sketchy dog barking in the backyard.
So I was like, okay, we'll get inside, throw her in there. get her inside, and then I'll go back, get everything
Yeah.
that's valuable out of the car. We get up to the Airbnb, I guess is really what it is. It's kind of like just I don't know. It was weird.
It was a weird. We were just trying to save money, but honestly, we probably should just spend some more money, got something nice. But it was also, we were both under 21, so we couldn't really book a hotel.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like a big mess. But anyways, we got up there. I think we like both took showers,
Yeah.
and then
Sat down, opened up all our wedding cards.
yeah, that's what we did. That's literally what happened on our first night.
Opened up all our wedding
Opened
cards.
up all our wedding cards.
Passed out.
Not quite.
I don't remember
We
the
didn't.
rest of it.
We opened up our wedding cards, and then we were gonna go to sleep, and then I like told you I felt really bad that the whole night wasn't really going like planned. You know how most people want their wedding night to go.
Yeah.
And then I think some things might have happened in there for a few minutes, and then you passed out.
Yeah.
And then I stayed awake for hours. I couldn't fall asleep because I was in so much pain from my rash that I was having.
I made makeshift ice bags.
Yeah.
Did that.
I was like, oh my gosh, she's already the best husband. Because literally we got to the Airbnb and he made me like makeshift like ice packs by like taking the ice cubes out of the freezer, sticking them in trash bags, like putting them on my legs.
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope some of that made sense because that was really jumbled. But basically, it was not the spicy romantic night that everyone thinks their like first night married is gonna be like. But ours was kind of like a special circumstance. Like I don't think most people,
Yeah.
hopefully, aren't having like super serious medical conditions on the night of their wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was our first night together. It didn't go as planned, but it's definitely something that's gonna be stuck in our memory forever.
Yeah. First time getting back home from.
Okay, so we stayed one night after our wedding at that Airbnb, and then we actually waited to go on our honeymoon. We kind of did it out of the normal order.
Yeah.
So we spent one night at an Airbnb, and then we actually came home, and that was technically us moving in together. We had never lived together before.
Yeah.
So like our first week living together, honestly, we just spent a lot of time together. Like no matter what we were doing, we were together the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like loving living like together. And then I was just like cooking and cleaning a lot. You had to go back to work.
The next day. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just fun. Like we went and got groceries together for the first time. That was crazy. That felt weird.
I think oh yeah, you were really strict on it. You're like, no, we don't need that. We need this. We need
What?
that. Yeah, yeah. Because I was going to like pick out a few snack stuff. And then you're
Did
like,
we?
no. Yeah. I remember this.
Whatever.
I remember this.
See, I don't remember that. I remember spending a ton of money. We went to that one Walmart.
Yeah. We got a
I thought
ton
we
of
spent
stuff because
a ton of money.
Well, we did because we needed a
Okay,
ton
so
of stuff
see,
for
that's
the
why
house.
I was being strict because we didn't have money.
We had the money.
I don't know. But anyways, and then we got like pizza and like, I don't know. I feel like our first week was just really relaxed. One day we like went and got Chick-fil-A. We went to like a near park and we just did stuff at the park. I don't know.
I
It
got
was
a
just fun. Like we were
longboard,
really
yeah.
just enjoying like moving in together.
It was cool.
That was our first time ever like living with anyone but family. So
Yeah.
it was, I mean, I'd say it went pretty well.
Yeah. I think it's still going well.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This one's fun.
Is this one our last one?
Yeah, last one. Here we go.
This one's the actual honeymoon one.
First trip together.
Yeah.
Now, we started off. We are gracious and lovely grandparents.
My grandparents.
Blessed us with it's not a resort. What is that?
Just like a place to stay, basically, like a
A
hotel
seaside hotel
in Florida.
in Florida.
Yeah. So we fly out to Florida. We didn't have a car. So we get there. You had just turned 21.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to rent a car because, you know, if you're under 25, it's super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, we'll just like Uber everywhere. Thankfully, my aunt lives in Florida. So she actually picked us up
Mm-hmm.
and took us to our like hotel, resort, whatever
Our
it was.
destination.
Yeah. And so anyways, we basically, after she dropped us off, we were pretty much stuck there for the rest of the week
Yeah.
unless we paid to Uber somewhere or we walked somewhere, which
Yeah.
we walked a lot
Yeah.
that week.
We
Miles
walked
upon miles.
miles.
Honestly, it was probably good for us, but I literally thought one day that my legs were going to fall off.
Yeah.
Do you remember me like basically crying? I was like, I can't do this anymore.
It's so funny. I'm glad we actually brought some sort of walking shoes because
I don't think I did. I think I was literally in like, I mean, they're not terrible for walking, but I think I was like in like Nike Air Forces or something that like isn't like a prime walking shoe, but
Yeah.
like it's not like Hills or something.
yeah.
But yeah, that whole week was very interesting. I was battling again with like health issues. I was having like hive breakouts and migraines and all this stuff. So in between us having fun, there was also some like down times that weren't as good. You were so nice though. I felt so guilty because like your honeymoon's supposed to be so fun. Like
Honestly, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. It was
Like
just,
a lot.
It was also hard to.
I felt bad
I
for
don't know.
you, really.
Yeah.
I had a great
felt
time.
So sick.
I
half
brought
the
my
time.
Switch. We sat in bed. I played games. You were ill.
Yeah,
on the
I
other
was
side of
ill the whole
bed.
time you were playing games. That's why he was playing games because I was like so sick and
Couldn't
sleeping,
really go anywhere.
trying to sleep it off. But like we like walked to like restaurants nearby. We went to a pizza place. We
The pizza
walked.
place was okay.
Yeah, it was alright.
And
the
then we went to
breakfast
the
place.
Diner thing.
We walked
was
like
sick.
I want to say like 4 or 5 miles to go to the Steiner.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was. I feel like we
A
walked
round trip was 4 or 5 miles for sure.
maybe even 6. Like I feel like it was like maybe 3 miles away and 3 miles back.
It was a long
Or
way.
2.5 miles. It was far. It was a far walk. Anyways, we walked to this diner and it was like some of the best food we had on the whole trip.
It was really good.
It was so good. Like I cried on the walk back because it was such a far walk. But literally, I was like
worth.
almost worth. Like I was like, should we walk over there again tomorrow? It was
worth.
so good. And then we went to the beach, obviously, and like stuff like that. But this one day we like woke up and I was super sick. I like had a really bad migraine. And I was like, I don't want to let this hold me back. Like I still want to do something fun. And so we had planned to go on like a bike ride. So I was like, okay, let's go on a bike ride, babe. So we go rent these bikes and we're like start riding around, right? Just kind of like exploring the town. And I start feeling really sick and I'm like, yeah, I still feel really sick. Like I'm not feeling better. We got off at like this one like tourist location to take a picture.
Yeah.
And I started like pre-puking, like about to puke.
Yeah.
Like the stuff you
Yeah,
kind of
yeah. That
choke
mouth
up.
saliva.
choke up before you start throwing up. Yeah, that was happening.
And so we took a ride back and then
Oh, I was so sick. I literally was like, no, babe, I'm not going to make it. Like, we need to get back as soon as possible. I feel so sick because whenever I get migraines, I'm pretty sure this is for everyone, but like for me personally, whenever you have a migraine, the light makes everything worse. So it was like midday. It was so bright outside. It was hurting my head so much and I just was making me super nauseous. So I literally was like, babe, we got to get back. So we go back to the bike station. We put our bikes up and then we literally like call like this little like cab thing that the hotel had.
Mm-hmm.
And we had them come pick us up. And like all the while waiting for them, I was like so sick. Like I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
I was so sick. Anyways, he finally gets over there to us and it's like a mile ride back to our hotel. We're riding in the little like, it's like basically like a golf cart with like walls
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. And so we're like riding in it and we're getting kind of close to the hotel and I'm like, babe, I'm going to throw up. I'm like, if he does not get me off this thing in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to throw up on his thing. So he pulls up in front of the hotel and I get out and I start running towards like the doors. And then all of a sudden I'm like, nope, I'm not going to make it. And I just hang over the rail of the steps and start just literally puking up everything that I'd ate that day.
So I saw her puking up and then I was like, oh, okay.
It was so bad.
I got to figure out something. And so I ran inside and I was like, my wife is literally throwing up on y'all's steps. Can I get some sort of water, bottle of water, something? And they're like, oh, well, there's vending machines over here. I was like, okay, let me think. My wife is pregnant. She's throwing up on your doorsteps. Immediately they switched to, I got to get this kid a bottle of water.
This kid.
And they like went in the back. It was like 3 seconds. It was so fast. They could have gotten me this bottle of water so much faster. if they would have they could have gotten it for me, but they didn't want
We
to.
don't endorse lying, by the way. I don't know what came over him. And so anyways, he's in there. I don't know where he went. I'm out here throwing my guts up. I'm like, why did he literally just leave me? And then he comes back out and he has like some like napkins and like some water. And I like take the napkins. I like wipe my face off because I had like literally stuff everywhere. And then I'm like, oh, I feel so sick. I'm like, I need to go back to our room. And he's like, here, I got you water. And I was like, no, I can't drink that. Like, I'm gonna start like literally throwing up again. And so we like walk in past the front desk, and all the ladies at the front desk are like, congratulations, feel better soon. And I like go get in go get into the elevator. I'm like, babe, what the heck are they talking about? Why are they congratulating me? And he's like, I might have told them you were pregnant so I could get you a water.
They weren't gonna give it to me otherwise. They weren't gonna give me the
I started
water
freaking
bottle.
out. I was like, babe, no, you didn't. He was like, well, they weren't gonna give me water.
They weren't gonna give it to me, and so I was like, okay, I'm either gonna have to jump over this counter to get this stupid water bottle for my wife, or I'm going to have to lie my way to it.
Oh
And
my
so I
gosh.
chose the less violent path.
Anyways, so that's one of the funny stories from our trip that we remember.
But if y'all enjoyed listening to this podcast and you've made it this far, please consider subscribing.
And hit the like button. Talk to you guys next week.
Bye.